I have a very easy job to welcome you before Carol come on and share her wisdom about what we're trying to achieve here. This is obviously a place where as you walk in, you can tell this is where we do celebrate invention, right? I hope you did notice that wall of fame of the Master Inventor and the IBM Fellows that are prominently displayed in the hallway when you first walk in. I'm Claudia Munce. I am Vice President of IBM Corporate Strategy, but also the Managing Director of IBM Venture Capital Group. We are definitely all about finding innovation. IBM has a spectrum of needs for innovation. A lot of them come from right here where you are. This is actually what I call my mothership. Almost 30 years ago, I joined IBM as a researcher right here in this lab, and then went on to work on many of the exciting research projects. And before they say, there might be something outside too that you need to pay attention to. So we established a venture group to really look at the portfolio company in the Valley and beyond that are innovative and relevant to IBM and to our clients. And of course, those are relevant in terms of changing the life, changing the society to be a better place is something that we're very excited to cultivate and assist. So we're really, really delighted. As Yolanda said, I am very privileged to be on the advisory member, just to be part of this committee that actually helps celebrate the inventor and the invention. This is something very dear to my heart in my 30 years as an engineer. I'm still a class engineer, forget the MBA and all that. You never stop being the engineer once you are. Especially when I'm here in Almaden, and the IBM colleague here know I still keep a hidden office somewhere in the hallway, so I get to come back as often as I can. But truly is a symbol how much this invention to all of us, to the society, to our needs, to our businesses, and to our children, our parents, is the fundamental needs that we have in innovating. And innovation is the breadth of this whole area and this whole lab that you're in right now. So I want to truly welcome you, and we truly feel very privileged to be able to host this event right here today. And the agenda is incredible, and I'm truly looking forward to share all that insight with you. So thanks for being here, and welcome.
I do want to thank Claudia in particular, and also IBM for hosting us here. I mean, I had not been to this facility before. I walked in the door, and invention just kind of comes pouring out of the walls and literally on the walls. It's very inspiring, and I'll talk to you a little bit about why I think that's important. I also want to thank Yolanda Comedy and her team, because they've done a tremendous job of pulling this together, and I think it's a really exciting day we have ahead of us. And then, of course, I want to thank very much our AAAS-Lemelson ambassadors who are here today speaking on behalf of Invention, on behalf of all of us, but also are doing that and committing themselves to doing that more broadly throughout their careers. So really pleased to have you here as well as guests, and very happy to be hosting. So for those of you who don't know the Lemelson Foundation, we are a private family foundation. We're based in Portland, Oregon, and our founder, Jerry Lemelson, and his wife, Dorothy, clearly knew the power of invention to change lives and improve lives. So Jerry Lemelson had over 600 patents at the time he passed away in his 70s. And so if you think about that, it was over one a month for over 40 years. Truly a prolific inventor. Now his inventions ended up taking part in all kinds of different things, all the way from toys to how we do automated manufacturing today, and how we capture audio and visual information. So he knew the power of invention to make change. And so as he found himself with assets, he started the foundation and really committed the foundation to ensuring that we have a next generation of inventors who can, in fact, take on the big problems, make a better future, and make those businesses, products, jobs, and economy strong for the future. So they knew the power of invention. We're dedicated to that. And how do we do that? we think about things in the context of impact inventing, and it's an idea I like to share with you, which is inventing to ensure that the products of invention actually have positive social impact, that those inventions are environmentally responsible, as it is the inventions we create that actually change and affect the way we relate to this planet, which is so important to all of us, and then also that they're of sufficient value that people will want them, and therefore they can become financially self-sustaining. So impact inventing, positive social impact, environmentally responsible, and can become financially self-sustaining. And I think we'll hear more about that today. But we also know that that just doesn't arise, that in fact you need a supporting ecosystem. So we work on inspiring and educating the next generation of inventors, inspiring people to know there are problems worth solving, helping them to acquire the skills and the toolkit that allow them to become inventors, and then to help create a supporting ecosystem that will allow them to take their ideas forward and turn them into products that have positive impact on lives. And I think we're here today to talk about both what it takes to inspire people to work on problems worth solving, but also how we create a supporting ecosystem for them to do that. So let me give you an example. I'm just going to tell a really short story about a small company that's growing rapidly. It's called Ecovative. This is a company that's devoted to creating a new form of biomaterials, and Paul Stamets, who's in the audience here somewhere, is going to like the choice, I'm sure, because it's a new class of products that are useful for packaging, for filler materials, and ultimately for potentially even building materials, that is completely biodegradable and can replace things like the plastics-derived foams and styrofoams that we normally acquire things as packaging and filler, et cetera, and that end up in landfill and don't go away. So Ecovative has done that building on what is a natural technology, which is mycelium from mushrooms. So that's the vegetative growth phase of mushrooms. And they use agricultural waste, so stems and stalks and so on, and they grow the mycelium on that, and it creates a biologically degradable polymer that can be used, in fact, to create these new products. Well, where'd that come from? I mean, great idea. You guys may have already received things in it. You got a bottle of wine in the mail, and it said, don't throw this away, shred it, put it in your garden. That was their product. It's now being distributed by folks like the folks who make bubble wrap, right? So Sealed Air Company, the #1 producer of protective materials, et cetera. It's also inside, if you have modular steel case furniture, it's the filler inside the newer versions of steel case furniture. So it's replacing the landfill that would be created. So how did that happen? Well, in fact, it was students who started that company. In 2007, the two students who were key in starting this company were at Rensselaer Polytechnic, okay? And they were involved in a class called the Inventor's Design. Well, how did that class get started? A partner of ours called VentureWell provided the funding to create a program that would allow students to realize their creative capacity and become inventors. But also in that program, they had a phenomenal teacher who actually pushed them to create things that were not just doable, but things that could have positive social impact and were worth doing. And so Bert Swersey, that teacher, inspired them to not only take a great idea they came up with, this idea, and turn it into a business, but help them to get on the path and receive funding and mentoring from VentureWell, our partner that I mentioned, which creates an ecosystem for young inventors to take things through. Now that company, since 2007, has hired 70 employees, has raised over $22 million in ongoing funding, so deep financing, and has replaced hundreds of thousands of what would have been waste products made from styrofoam with what is organic fertilizer, basically, as packing material. And so that's a transformative change. It's something worth doing, and it's the kind of thing we'd like to see happening. So what I'm excited about here today is that we're going to talk about in our panels, how do we think about problems worth solving? There are a lot of problems being solved out there that you might ask, was that really worth the time and effort? And then we're going to hear about some problems today where we're going to say, wow, this is something definitely worth doing. How do we inspire people to take on the big problems? Our planet is facing a lot of issues. We have global health issues, inequity in health. We have issues around food security. We have issues around change in the climate and our relationship with the planet. All of these require invention to move forward. So today we'll talk about what are those problems we're solving, and also about how we create a supporting ecosystem to ensure that people with great ideas can take them forward.